Welcome back to another episode of JA Talks. My name is Jassam, and we will be talking about the issues of the Jamaica Labour Party. That is something that we're going to be going in right after the break. So stay with us, we'll be right back. Okay, so before I even do that though, so I'll be starting a mini series. We're in the electoral season, or election season basically. Election is soon to call, so I'm going to be doing a mini series, and that is going to be called the Political Watch. Alright, so going forward, any videos that I produce pertaining to the general election will be underneath the Political Watch playlist, so you can follow along. Alright, and I also want to thank everyone who has been really showing their support. A lot of persons have disagreed with my views, some persons would have agreed, and trust me, I welcome the discussion. Right, it's a healthy discussion. We can have our conversations in the comment section. I welcome it, and I thank you guys. So now what I will be doing, it's a two-part series. So this part is about the issues with the Jamaica Labour Party, and either later on this week or next week I'm going to do the issues with the People's National Party. Alright, so we're going to start off with the Jamaica Labour Party. So here it is. So one of the first situations that we need to discuss is the fact that the electorate has changed. So the persons back in the 70s, persons back in the 50s, the 60s, it's not the same person. A lot of those persons would have either been either dead or very old. Right? The youngest person who's eligible to vote in 2025 is an 18-year-old. An 18-year-old was born in 2007. Yeah. 2007 is when an 18-year-old was born. What does that mean? It means that you cannot, and I've been saying this, it means that a lot of the things that the Jamaica Labour Party has been campaigning on, some of them, and when they talk about like the past, none of that means anything to an 18-year-old. You cannot look at an 18-year-old, someone that was born in 2007, and talk about Mike and Manley and talk about PJ Patterson. That means nothing to them. Right? We can see, so 2007 was when they were born. Andrew Holness has been in power for the past 10 years. That means that they were 7 or 8 years old around the time when Andrew Holness just got power back in 2016. They were that young. Or even 8 or even 9 years old rather. They were that young. So to come to them and talk to an 18-year-old about FinSac is pointless. I'm 30 and I still don't understand the concept of FinSac. Maybe I have to do like my research to try to understand the concept of FinSac. I guess I'll do that in a video separate from that, but from this one. But yeah, I still don't, me myself, and I don't even fully understand the concept of FinSac, much less an 18-year-old. And what hasn't happened is that a lot of the times, I saw Andrew Holness spoke about it in Parliament. I saw Kamina Johnson-Smith went on CVM and spoke about it as well, the concept of FinSac and how it was bad, and there was the country was going underneath a financial collapse. Yeah, I get that, but that doesn't resonate with the young people. I think one of the biggest issues with the Jamaica Labour Party is that they're not able to connect with the younger voters. Back in 2016, back in 2011, when Andrew Holness first became Prime Minister, he was nominated by the members of the JLP. When Bruce Golding stepped down, he was young, and the generation back then he was able to connect to, and that is why he has been in power for this long. But there is a sense of losing his connectivity with the young voters, with the young people, because the people who he would have connected back in 2007/2016 we're all adults now. Back in 2011, I was in high school. I'm 30 years old now. So you can just imagine how old an 18-year-old who's eligible to vote was back in 2011. And to them, Andrew Holness has been in power for all of their lives. Basically, because really and truly, a 7-year-old, an 8-year-old, a 9-year-old doesn't care about politics. They're not watching politics. They're not flop on something. They're good at watching like a cartoon. You understand? So nobody is really looking at politics. So now that they're at the age of where they're able to vote, to them, Andrew Holness has been in power all their lives. And there's a sense of, I'm tired of you, basically. And regardless, and let me make it clear, because yes, the Jamaica Labour Party would have done a lot of good things, let me make that clear, but all of that fly over their head, because at the end of the day, they weren't a part of politics, and now that they're reaching adulthood, yeah, basically I'm gonna go by what them parents say, or them family. So if your family's a die-hearted liberal, I guess they may go by that. Or if their family's a die-hearted comrade, they may also go by that as well. But it's not a sense of, oh, they might sit down and do research. Nobody have time to do that and look up things that nobody have time to do that. They can mean I do that, they're a content creator. So much less an 18-year-old, nobody do that there. And so there's a sense of disconnect with them. Another reason why the Jamaica Labour Party is also disconnected from the populace is because of what is happening in regards to like certain policies that they would have put in place and certain things that is happening right now. We understand that globalization is taking place. We understand that capitalism also is taking place as well. And so capitalism dictates that you are paid little to nothing, or you're just paid enough just to survive, while the man at the top is rich. That's how it looks. And so there is a sense of frustration there. When you see that the government's salary has been increased significantly, and they're looking at their pockets and they're looking at their struggles, it really grieves the situation. It really exacerbates the situation even more. So, of course we're gonna feel aware, right? Now granted, there are persons in the public sector also who their salaries would have increased, and we get that. So we're not talking about persons who are working for the government who are in the public sector, but more so the persons who are in the private sector. Another reason why there's a disconnect with the public, the government has been campaigning, and a part of their campaign strategy, they are talking about their various achievements and the fact that unemployment rate is low. So let's talk about that. Unemployment rate is low. From a quantitative perspective, yes, we understand that yes, we do have a lot of jobs available. I have seen where every time I walk, they're saying workers needed. Some say Bashko, they must say workers needed. Every minute, Mega Martha say they put on job fair every minute. The Ministry of Labour and Social Security is putting on a job fair, right? And so there is a demand for people to work, so much so that you have the business sector wanting the government to fly the gate and allow other workers to come into Jamaica and work for Jamaica, because apparently the understanding is that there is not enough workers in Jamaica to fill the positions that are there. Now, and that is from a quantitative perspective. From a qualitative perspective, though, the jobs that are there are menial and low-paying, low-wage jobs. The jobs that are there are either a call center. If on a call center, a security work. If on a security work, a hotel. If on a hotel work, like server, so a restaurant, like work at KFC. You understand? These are the jobs that are being offered. Now, one may argue that, you're supposed to get a skill and get qualified so they can get a higher paying job, get an education so that they can get a higher paying job. Well, let me speak from my own personal experience. I hold an associate degree in business management supervision, and I work at a call center. on numerous occasions, I personally would have applied to various jobs within the various sectors. I would have applied for jobs in the Ministry of Health. I went into the Southern Regional Health Authority, the Western Regional Health Authority, the Southeast Regional Health Authority as well. As a matter of fact, back in January, on the 26th of January of this year, there was a job fair for 600 jobs in Kingston where the Ministry of Health was hosting, and that was just, I believe that was just a public a PR stunt, because many persons went there, and I went there. When I went there, I was met with, basically, she looked at my resume, she saw that I was qualified, she took the resume and said, "We will call you." That was in January. We're now in the month of August. So, yeah. On multiple occasions, I personally would have applied to various places and I don't get a call back. So much so that I took the liberty to physically print out my documents, my qualifications, and also my application letter. And I recall going down to the Mandeville Regional Health Authority, the Mandeville Regional Hospital rather, with my qualifications, saying, "Here are my documents, here are my qualifications, I'm applying for XY job." And the people say they only accept it via email. But I've been saying, I understand that you only accept it via email, but then you have not been replying to my emails. I've been emailing you and sending you my application since 2021. Every time a job comes out, a job offer, a vacancy comes out, I have been emailing you since 2021. We're now in 2025 and we can't get a job. So the argument that person will say that, oh, you're supposed to upskill yourself, and because of that, because a lot of persons who really and truly don't have no subject have to settle for the minimum wage jobs, but that is not the case across the board. A lot of persons who are extremely educated can do better and just end up finding themselves in the call center industry because there's no jobs available. The only jobs that are available that quote unquote want us are the call center work, the hotel work, if you work at KFC or Burger King or at a fast food restaurant, or to be a security guard. These are the jobs that are in high demand. The jobs that nobody wants, or work a factory. And the fact is that you're not really paying people to survive. And then that goes on to my other disconnect, right? Because when you have somebody like Favor Williams talking about $2,000 to purchase a Pro Box, $2,000 to purchase a Pro Box, right? Cool.
On a monthly basis, let's call it $2,000 a month. If you faithfully put away that $2,000 because it's something that you were not getting before, 3 years, you'll have a tidy sum that you could put down on a car, a little Pro Box that you have to drive to go to work, and you don't have to stand up in the sun or think about rain to get a vehicle to drive. So yeah,
$2,000 a month over 3 years, Minister. You think we can? And you think you can put out on a car with that?
Yeah, a little Pro Box. You can get a
20-year-old Pro Box.
You want the Jamaican people to save $2,000 every year to purchase a Pro Box. Let us do the mathematics, right? That is $24,000 a month. $24,000 times 3, that would equal that $60,000 put on one side, 68,000 plus 4,000, that is 72,000. So you want Jamaicans to save $72,000 for 3 years to purchase the cheapest Pro Box is around $570,000. So your roughly can just knock off the $70,000 off of the $570,000. Where are you going to get the other $500,000? So when you came and you gave that, I don't know, that speech on all angles, it was very condescending, and again, it represented a disconnect from the Jamaican people, especially the Jamaican young people, and so there's a lot of frustration. Now, another reason the Jamaican people are frustrated with the JLP government is the fact that every day you come and you say, oh, there are a lot of stats, unemployment rate is down, the poverty rate has decreased significantly, Jamaica's debt to GDP is now at 68%, and you come and you share all of these good news to us, but these good news mean absolutely nothing when we can't pay bills. These good news mean absolutely nothing to us when we are struggling to make ends meet. So you're telling us all of these good things, but I'm still hungry. You're telling us all of these good things and these good news that are happening in the country, but we are not seeing it. We don't see what you're talking about. We don't feel what you're talking. So that means nothing to me. So come, telling me about things that means absolutely nothing to me. Telling me about these stats, and all the good investments that's taking place in the country means absolutely nothing to me when I am still struggling to make ends meet. And then on top of it, now the Ministry of Health is going to come and encourage us, oh, we need to procreate and we need to have children because it's going to affect the country. Why am I going to procreate and bring children into this world when I am struggling to struggle too as well? And again, nobody is addressing the money part. You have Richard Biles, the president of the central bank, cautioning private sectors against raising the money because according to him it's going to cause inflation. So we are the sacrificial lamb. Is what you're saying, because when the public sector workers' salary was raised, right, no one said anything. But now when the private sector workers' salary needs to be raised, oh, you can't raise it too much because it's going to cause an inflation. So the private sector workers are the sacrificial lamb in order to make the country go ahead. Is that it? When you have the president of the Jamaica Hotel Association is going to talk about, oh, don't worry about getting high pay, work hard so that you can get a promotion. Does that make any sense? Does that make any sense? Things like these grieve the Jamaican young people. You grieve the spirit of the Jamaican young people because they are actually struggling. They're trying to do their best to make ends meet, and you're telling them foolishness in their ears. You grieve the people when you come and tell me save $2 a month, figured by Pro Box. The belittlement, the condescension and the disconnect is real. When someone like Delana Silverite is going to talk about he's looking for more investment into the hotel industry. And then when you have somebody like Audrey Marks who made a statement stating that, she knows 3 investors and they're working on getting more $3 billion is potential to be invested into Jamaica. $1 billion out of the $3 billion is supposed to be going towards tourism. Let me translate what you're telling the young people, because a lot of people really don't understand what is taking place. And so which is why we had the multiple strikes that was taking place last year, because the people get fed up. Let me explain to you what you're saying, or what the young people hear when you say we're getting more hotels for you.
I get 31,000 a fortnight. That is rubbish. I pay 10,000 for insurance, 20,000 for my daughter. I have to still book shuffle to come and work. Beg money here and there, borrow money here and there to reach at work for the week. Hand to mouth. Hand to mouth. And it can't work. It can't work. We're not having it. We're not having it. It cannot work. And we need something to be done.
They don't want you to take home the uniform where you can carry home and go wash it properly. More time you come and you put on the clothes, it itch you, it scratch you because it now wash properly. So people have to go to doctor, people rush up. So I'm more money out of the little bit of pay where you have to spend for doctor.
You're basically saying that we'll get more slave work for you. Because bad as it is, you have people in the hotel industry. First of all, you're not supposed to get tips. You have to hide and get tip. You're being paid minimum wage, and you're expected to work 6 days a week. Bad enough, you get minimum wage, but normally, because working in the call center, you work 5 days a week, you get 2 days day off. And in the hotel industry, you want to pay the people minimum wage, and you want them to come into work 6 days a week. And so the excuse that you have is that they're not working the full 80 hours. So because they're not working the full 80 hours, you stretch the 40 hours a week rather for 6 days. You divide by 6 instead of dividing it by 5. So now you have to spend more money to come to work for peanuts, for penance, for scraps. And you are expected to go above and beyond for scraps. This is the immense frustration that is taking place. And every day the government talks about, oh, we are getting affordable housing. But what affordable housing? Because when you go down to the National Housing Trust to try and get a house, the amount of bureaucracies that you have to go through to get a house. And apparently you have to team up with somebody now. So 3 Smile to get team up, figure out one 2-bedroom house. What gonna happen when I must say polyamorous relationship you push? Because how is that going to work? So there is immense disconnect with the Jamaican people. And you continue talking about how there are not enough trained people. It's not about training, because first of all, where is a training needs analysis? Where is the skills gap analysis to showcase that there are lack of trained persons? It has nothing to do with lack of trained persons. It has everything to do with the salary. And people want money. And you're not talking money language. You're talking work language. AKA, all the young people are hearing is slavery work. You're talking slavery work. Work for free. Work for little to nothing. Nobody wants to work for little to nothing. Money, 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 money. Talk language, money. You're not talking the money language, you're talking slavery work, and nobody wants to depend that. Nobody wants to work from their 18 until they're 65, slave out themselves to retire. Nobody wants that. The young people, the Gen Zs and the millennials, no depend that. Maybe the boomers were a part of that, because they were traditionally grown to think that way, but nobody wants that. And you are not addressing the root cause. We want money. And money we want. And no skills. And money we want. You keep on talking about, oh, they want better working improvement, working. Yes, I get the fact that, better working conditions is needed, right? But the primary thing, money we want. Money. Because I guarantee you, if the working conditions were poor, but you are still getting a good salary, people would still be going to the work. I guarantee you. But you keep on skirting around and talking about better working conditions. You keep on skirting around and talking about the instant, but you're not directly talking about money, and money we want. And money we want. Money. And so capitalism dictates that the call centers come for cheaper and want to pay us little to nothing, right? Nobody wants to work in the call center. They take advantage of us, and on top of taking advantage, they demand the most of us and pay us very little. Nobody wants that. And so the disconnect with the JLP is that they're not directly addressing the needs of the people, and because of that, you are at risk of being voted out. The People's National Party is capitalizing on the frustration of the people, and they're upset and they want money, and you're not talk the money language. And money we want. And money we want. Talk that. And then you get the votes. Talk the money language, and then we come up with. We need to have, and we also need to have different sectors. It cannot be that Jamaica is so predominantly dependent on tourism sector. There are various sectors that needs to be invested in so that we have a diverse sector. But you know what? That's a different video for a different time. I'll touch on that later. But yes, the main reason, one of the biggest problems with the Jamaica Labour Party is that they're not talking the money language. They're not addressing the frustrations of the people. They keep on skirting around the problem, and people sick and tired of the foolishness and money we want. Alright then, thank you very much guys for tuning into another episode, another week. And so the next episode I will be talking about the Jamaica Labour Party. So because I think a lot of persons think that just because I have addressed the first 2 videos were primarily about the Jamaica Labour Party, and so persons will believe that I am a comrade or I am biased, which is not necessarily the case. I try to be as neutral as possible, and so any criticism that I offer to the governing Jamaica Labour Party is also will be meted out to the People's National Party. So So to my labor right friends and my neutral friends, please stay tuned, because I also will be talking about the issues affecting the People's National Party. All right, so thank you very much for another joining me for another video. Yeah, always remember, please never forget, your independence is the foundation of your liberation. Have a wonderful day, guys.